I welcome you all to this next session on files. What is this? This is a file. What is the purpose of a file? What it contains? It contains some record. So, a file is a collection of record. Okay. Suppose I want to collect a data or information about students of a class. What are all the informations will be collected? I want to create a database for a class that includes student name, register number, parents name, address for communication, contact number, their marks, their results, etc. So I want to collect such data, and a student X will contain all the details, her name, a register number, so and so in a record. Student Y will contain the same details. So if I collect the details for all the students, and if I collect it in and kept in a file, that is a collection of data of a students. So the information about your student, the information of a student is said to be a record. Collection of information of all the students are said to be a file. And the database of a student, her name, her register number, these are all called data, otherwise fields. So a record of a student contains collection of data, otherwise called fields, such as name, register number, mark. If I collect information, otherwise record, for all the students, that becomes a file. That is what basically about files. Here in C language, I want to create such a file. Then how I can create a file? That's what we are going to learn. So now we know what is a file, what is a record, what are fields. Now there is a procedure, otherwise some syntax in C language. We have to follow that and we have to create a file. So today what we are going to see is, we are going to see how to name a file, how to declare a file, and opening, closing of file, and reading and writing data from your file. Okay, I have created a file. Yes, now this is a file. Now I want to read the data. What I have to do? Can I get the data from the 10th page just by keeping the file as it is? No. What I have to do? Is I have to open the file. Okay. After opening the file, I am going to read the data, or I want to write something. So if I want to include something, so let me include something, or else I read the data. After completing my work, what I have to do? I have to keep open this one and I have to move away? No. After finishing my work, what I have to do? I have to close the file. This is the usual way of reading and writing a data in a file manually. The same way in C language also, I have to use a file means first I have to open a file. There is a syntax to open a file. There is a syntax to read the data from a file. There is some grammar to write something on the file. And finally, I have to close the file. So there is some grammar to close the file. So we are going to learn about the syntax to create a file, then how to open that file, then how to close the file and how to read and write the data. Okay, let me move on to the content. File is nothing but group of related data. Group of related data which is stored in the memory is in secondary memory. What is the secondary memory? Hard disk, like that. So I want to keep my data permanently in the memory, so I am keeping in the secondary memory. What are the basic file operations? Naming a file, opening a file, reading and writing, closing a file. These are the contents we are going to see. First I am going to explain you about naming and opening, then closing. Reading and writing will be continued in the next video. Now, how to define and open a file. I am categorizing this into three. One, first naming a file, then how to declare a file, and what's the purpose of the file. We are going to mention the purpose of the file. How to create a file. Name of the file, dot, the extension whatever we want to give. This dot is an optional one. The name is a valid identifier. For example, input dot data. Input is the name, data is the extension. This extension gives us the information about the file. This data indicates that this is a file which contains some data. prog.c. This indicates that prog is a program file in a C language. This is simply name of the file is to without any extension or dot. That is also acceptable. Now coming to data structure. This data structure is always defined using the keyword file. This file keyword is in input-output functions. So whenever I want to declare a file, I have to use the keyword file. Here is the syntax. File star fp with semicolon at the end. What is fp? fp is a file pointer. So I am creating a file pointer, and then I am connecting the file pointer with your file name. What is fp equal to fopen within double quotes file name comma double quotes code implies? This file pointer points to a file called file name. Here what is this? This is a keyword fopen. This keyword used to open a file. Whenever you want to open a file, use the keyword fopen followed by name of the file. You have to inform the compiler the file that has to be opened. The name of the file to be given here, that is to be opened. What is the mode? Mode is the purpose. This mode can be small r, small w or small a within double quotes. What is small r represents? Whenever you put small r here, this file will be opened in order to read the data from that file only in read mode. That is, it is used to read the current content written in the file. Suppose if you use w, if there exists a particular file name, then this write mode, w mode, will completely delete the data that was already in the particular file, and it once again newly start with the data whatever that is given. fopen file name in w mode will Create a data if no such file already exists. If a file exists in that file name, it will delete the content and write the content whatever that we are going to give. So we should be very conscious when we create a file in write mode. So if I want to add some content, I'm having a student database. I want to include their upcoming semester marks, otherwise the last semester marks, to be included in the database of a student. So what I have to do in that case, I have to go with append mode. Append means adding. If I open a file in append mode, whatever the content you are going to give, that will be added with the existing file. But when you open in a write mode, there are two choices. Either if the file name already exists, means it completely deletes that one and creates another content, not the file. It won't delete the file, it deletes the content of the file and that particular file will be used for further writing. If no such file exists, it creates a new file for writing. So it's an example. File is a keyword, star P1, star P2. These two are file pointers, and I'm going to use these two pointers to open two files called data result. Data file is opened in a read mode. Result file is opened in W mode. Now this P1 make a link with data. Data is a file that is already stored in the system. Now P1 and P2 are the pointers that are created in the program. So this pointer goes and have a link with the data, the file that is stored in the system. So this file pointer makes a link between a system and a program. So this P1 connects the data and P2 connects with the file which is in the system. Now this is opened in read mode. So you can get the data, otherwise you can read the data from that file. In this mode, you cannot write anything. You cannot append anything. When it is open in the write mode, you can write the data, but you cannot read the data. So this is how a file data and results are opened in read and write mode. So in order to open a file, you need file pointers. So first create a file pointer using the data type file. File is a defined data type. Using that pointer, you make a link between the system and the program. Now I have opened the file. I want to close the file. How? I have to close the file. Yes, I have opened the file. Finally, for closing, you write F close within brackets, you write that file pointer. So the file pointer which connects the program and the file, now that link will be break. So I can break the link between the file pointer and the file using F close. Look at the example. These two are file pointers, P1, P2. P1 F open input opened in write mode. So this input is a file which is in the system memory that is linked with the pointer P1 which is created in the program. So whenever you write P1, automatically the link passes to that file called input. And that file was opened in write mode. So here you can write anything in this input file. Output is a file that is linked with the pointer P2. Whenever you call P2, this output will be invoked. and it was opened in read mode. So if whatever the content written in this output file can be read from that file. So after doing some processing, I want to close the file. Always finally you have to close the file. So F close, what's the file pointer? P1. F close P2. That's all. So the link between P1 and input file will be closed, and link between P2 and output will be closed. Now these two pointers are kept empty. If you want to link with any other file, data, result, whatever it is, you can reuse this P1 and P2 for any other file. So after closing a file, the file pointers can be reused for some other files to open. So once it is closed, the file pointers can be used for another file, that is to open another file. So that's what about defining, opening, closing. We will see reading and writing in the next video.